Howdy folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your host, Mighty Bjorn, and today I'm going to be doing some Batman shit here as I got a review for Batman Arkham Asylum. This is the game that actually kicked off the series, even though in chronological order, Arkham Origins is the first one. This just kicked it all off, and it actually kicked it all off in a really great way. But let's dive on into the very basics of the game. First thing is we got the developer as Rocksteady Studios. The publisher is Warner Brothers Interactive. They used Unreal 3, which was probably one of the better engines at the time. Now, for platforms and releases, it was released on PS3, Xbox 360, Mac OS, and Windows PC for August 2009. And this is actually the Windows PC version that you're seeing here. It would also be later re-released for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in October of 2006. Either way, the context of the game is the Joker has a master plan. The master plan involves being captured by Batman, being sent to Arkham Asylum, and he's actually trying to get his hands on essentially a new updated version of Venom called Titan. And essentially, you're just going through, you got to rescue some people, such as Jim Gordon gets captured, and you have to rescue him during the events of the game. You have to take out some of the bosses in the game, as well as then finally you have to take out the Joker himself and essentially retake over the asylum. Now, what are my thoughts about the game this many years later and playing it again here in 2023? And understand, it has been quite a while since I've played this game. The graphics, I think, still looks really great, to be honest. For how old the game is, I mean, we're talking 2009, and it still looks this good. They were definitely really ahead of the ball when it came to graphics. Now, obviously, I don't think it would necessarily look as good on the PS3 as it does on the PC here, but it definitely looks good, and it ran good on modern hardware as well. That can be a little hit and miss sometimes. The sounds, generally speaking, I like the sounds of the game. It all sounds really good. The gear variety is very nice. There's, you got the batarangs, you got the explosive, the plastic explosives, you got the whole thing, the grapple gun, the zip line, the whole 9 yards. With that said, the game is, I feel the game has a great story with a lot of characters from Batman's Rogue Gallery, such as Poison Ivy, you got Zsasz, and there's many others. There's even mention of a bunch of them as well. Some of the characters you don't see, like Hush, you never actually get to see him, but there is an entry in there about Hush and who he is. The character design, I feel, is overall really good. I mean, the characters look like who they're supposed to look like, in my opinion. I think they look great, even though they made changes to the various characters, such as Harley Quinn. Her suit looks pretty decent. Batman's suit even looks really good too. I like how in the gloves they got the bracers designed, which kind of makes sense. Could use to block swords and things of that nature. So it kind of makes sense that it's a little bit up armored. The suit also, in a way, kind of looks kind of like it should have armor to it, but it's not really heavily body armored, if you will. I like the way the Joker looks. The only character that they had in the game that I really didn't like the way the character looked was actually Scarecrow. I really wasn't fond with his overall design. And even when it comes to the goons, I like the overall design of the thugs in the game. They actually look like Arkham inmates without actually looking like real, true prisoners. So I really kind of appreciated that kind of theme to them. That being said, too, the voice acting is just right on point, guys. I really can't talk about how good I felt the voice acting was. Now, that being said, a lot of the voice actors they used for this game, such as Batman is Kevin Conroy. He was Batman for Batman the Animated Series. Joker is Mark Hamill. And once again, another guy, Batman the Animated Series. Pretty much all the voice actors from Batman the Animated Series, or at least the primary ones, were the same voice actors that was in Batman the Animated Series. And understand, too, I do want to say this was actually perfect timing to do this game and use those voice actors because it was definitely perfect timing on the nostalgia kick for people that used to watch Batman the animated series and really enjoyed that show, because I was a kid when that was on TV, but by that point I was a real young adult. I was really into video games at the time. I think when this came out, when this came out, I would have been like, 25-ish, and I was still in the games. And when I heard about this game and who the voice actors was and the story and the whole nine yards, it really attracted me to the game. And then I got in there, and honestly, I really wasn't disappointment, especially with Mark Hamill's performance as the Joker, and then obviously Kevin Conroy's performance as Batman, which, God rest his soul, he passed away a few years ago at this point now. But what a great voice actor. The Riddler stuff I feel is actually really good. There's not a lot of it, although some of the Riddle stuff kind of sucks, especially the stuff where it involves trying to superimpose a question mark, if you will. That's kind of annoying. But the nice thing about the Riddler stuff and the collectibles is it gives context for some of the other characters that is in the game that you don't actually get to see. Other parts of Batman's rogues gallery, such as I said earlier, I said about Hush, who is a primary villain of Batman's rogues gallery, as well as there's even hints or mentions and entries for Firefly, another guy that's part of his rogues gallery that just doesn't make the game. Two-Face, I believe, is in there, and Two-Face is another one of those primary villains, if you will, in Batman's rogues gallery, but Two-Face isn't in the game himself. So there's a lot of characters just like that. I think Penguin's even in there, but once again, he's not actually in the game itself. So it's kind of nice to give you kind of like an expanded view, if you will, of Batman and his rogue galleries, and his rogue gallery, and as well as it also kind of sets you up for Batman Rogue Arkham City as well, because a lot of the characters that I've mentioned, such as Two-Face does make an appearance in the future game, as well as Penguin also makes an appearance in the future games as well. That being said, too, overall, the atmosphere I feel is really good. It feels like a really old mental asylum. It doesn't feel like they tried to recreate a prison or anything like that, although there is some parts of it that is like a prison, but it feels more like what I imagine a sane asylum should look like, or at least in some regards to what an insane asylum should look like. Also, with that being said, too, there's also the more dark areas of the game as well, which kind of adds to the atmosphere of this kind of really old turn of the century insane asylum in the middle of this very gothic looking city that's been around forever, and it just works great within the context of Batman. Overall, really good job on that. Now, with that being said, stuff that kind of definitely got my attention, and this is the kind of stuff that got my attention a long time ago, back when I played this on PS3 when this game was brand new, but it's still kind of one of those it still gets my attention now. One thing that can be said is the movement at times can be a little off. It's not so bad in this one as it will be in future games, but there is moments where it's like I'm trying to do something and I don't know, the camera angle or the character or whatever just kind of fucks off and does whatever it wants to do. Target locking in combat can be a little bit weird too. Every once in a while I'd catch Batman just swinging for the fences, even though he's standing right next to the bad guy and I am pushing the direction for him to turn and face the enemy and actually hit the enemy, but it just decided, I'm going to just look over here in dead space. There is still some shortcomings in the graphics, some of the graphic designing and things of that nature. It has some shortcomings, and that has to do with the age of the game. Like I said, though, overall, the graphics is really good. But it was stuff I noticed. It was small things. Like I noticed there's some of the enemies have assault rifles in the games, and the assault rifles, even though it looks like the developer was trying to go for something looking like a G36, it looked like less a G36 as much as it did look like a brick with a gun barrel sticking out of it. Overall, though, it's still not bad. Just some shortcomings. Lots of Predator mode to this game. I forgot about how much Predator mode was in this game. That's kind of where you're stalking around, trying to find the enemies, trying not to be spotted, you know, and then jumping them, launching your attack, you know, and essentially knocking them out without being spotted. And I literally forgot how much of it there was in this game. And towards the end of the game, it just seems like I'm constantly doing Predator mode stuff. Honestly, I've never been overly... I like the theme of Predator mode. I just hate doing it. So if you don't really... you know, the Predator mode can be a bit of a nuisance, if you will. Either way, with all that being said, the game is $20 on Steam, folks. And even though this is an old game, I definitely still recommend getting it. Now, paying $20 for it here in 2023 when the game is over 10 years old, I don't know if I could recommend it that much, but definitely one of those things. Keep an eye out for when it goes on sale, because I know at times this game goes on sale for like $5. And that being said, too, I've actually got this game for free, and I've seen it actually go for free multiple times over the years. So it's not like it's, you know, it's a game that you can possibly pick up even for absolutely nothing. But if you've never ever played the Arkham games, I definitely recommend grabbing this one, as this is actually a really good entry. And this will kind of give you a prelude into what the rest of the series of the Arkham games are like. And, you know, it might get you more interested in the Arkham games in general. And so far, what I can say is with all the Arkham games is they've definitely been worth it. But anyway, folks, that is my review of Batman Arkham Asylum. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Share this video around, as I am a growing YouTuber. Like the video, you know, all that kind of BS that all these YouTubers like nowadays. Anyway, folks, thanks again for tuning in, and have yourself a wonderful day.